We talked about this album being 40 years old, and you've been doing this for 50 years. Did you think you would be doing this for 50 years? You know, like what keeps you going in doing this? And there's a lot of, like we brought up Biff. I think he's the same age as you. What what motivates you to keep going?
I mean, I think it's like I like to make music. I like to be creative, working on new albums. And a very important thing is for me that I still have fun to do this. You know, this is I think the most important thing. If I got the feeling, oh, come on, or another tour, or come on, now a new album, if I got this feeling, then definitely I will retire. But this has not happened. I mean, we have so many things going on at the moment for us. I mean, I think we are busy until 2027 or whatever, and stuff like that already. And I mean, I'm fine. I feel healthy. Everything works. So here we go.
That's just funny the way you put that. Everything works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, you know, when you're a musician that has been around as long as you have, you know, it's almost like the guys that are still doing this, you know, 30, 40, 50 years, it's like a drug to them. Like they can't stop, you know, and it's like whether, you know, and I've noticed with you, whether you were in front of a crowd of 50,000 people or 200 or 300, depending on where you're playing at, it's like you still have that intensity to keep going. And I think to do this as long as you have at a high level, I think is honestly pretty, it's something for a lot of people to admire in a sense, because you have defied the odds, you know, as they say.
And it's a big motivation as well. I can tell you that. I mean, if like everyone from the band is looking at him every night performing, and we are not a band who plays 2 shows and then we have 2 days off. We play 5 shows in a row. And fly from A to B overnight, and it's very, very fascinating and motivating at the same time to see him going. And you know, it's just good for yourself to see, look, that's what I should do. That's how you do it, you know? So that is really, really cool.
Sven, how did you start getting into music? I mean, what was you know, what age did you really get into what your dad was doing? And you know, did you ever think you'd be playing in a band with him? You know, all these years later?
No, not at all. No, I mean, I started early. I started playing drums at the age of 4. So drums were there my whole life, and but I had I would say like a very regular approach to it. I were at a music school, and then I had a private teacher, and then I went into like a church choir and played with a conductor, and then pretty early, I think I was maybe 11 or 12, I formed my first own band, which was a cover band originally, and we listened to all that, I don't know, pop punk stuff from the States, Blink-182, The Offspring, Sum 41, that kind of stuff. And that was the music I grew up to. And then we wanted to write our own music, and that's what we did. And then we got together with Stefan Kaufmann, and he produced our first EP. But you know how it is, like as we grew up and everyone had to orientate himself in life, what will I do as a job or whatever, or study or whatnot? Things became more complicated, and that's when we had to stop the band, because a lot of parents from the musicians that I worked with, or friends that I had back in the day, they were not very happy with the approach that I had, because I took it serious and I wanted to do stuff. And they said, no, you can't rehearse every day a week. You have to do your homework and stuff, you know? So I was sort of like on a very serious approach. And of course, my parents told me, you have to do something, like we want you to do something official, because like you never know where the path with music would take you to. But as I did my apprenticeship, I already started working with bands as a technician and stuff. And I was on tour with Saxon, and I was on tour with my dad at that time already. And then I just really got into that type of music as well. That's when I really discovered the classic heavy metal. Of course, I knew and know what my dad was doing for all these years, and they were songs that I liked, but I was not a classic heavy metal fan right from the start. And so I mean, things developed, and in 2014 I was on tour with Saxon, and my dad came for a visit in Berlin. I think we were doing sound check, and they were talking, Biff and Udo, and my dad told him like, yeah, I have to look for a new drummer and blah blah blah. And Biff told him, look, there's your new drummer. Ask him, why not? He can do it. And yeah, at the same time, Biff called me because Nigel. We had to stop the tour because he got sick and had to undergo an operation, and then they rescheduled shows for February 2015. So at the time my dad asked me, I also had the request of playing 5 shows with Saxon in the UK. So I had like a set list of, I don't know, 50 plus songs that I had to learn. That's why it took, I think I took 14 days to decide if I want to do it or not, because I knew if you join the band now, if you go into UDO and you start playing drums with them, there's pretty much no way back. You know, if that's your decision now, then this is going to be it. And I took it serious, and here I am. It's 10 years now. Which is crazy.
Yeah. So Sven, what is your favorite album that your dad sang on? Gotta pick.
That's probably
probably not an expected question. I'm just curious.
I must say that still Metal Heart was a big part of my childhood.
Okay.
And Metal Heart still is my favorite Accept song. When it comes to UDO, there are certain albums where I really like it, but I think Animal House, now listening to it, is very, very fantastic, I think. Yeah.
That's probably my favorite one right there. Actually, you just named the one that I like the best as well. Yeah, it's interesting, because, you start seeing now kids of people that, basically created this genre, really helped, like your dad is one of the people that helped, form this whole genre of music. And now you're seeing kids, relatives all playing this music. It's pretty, it's fascinating to see, and you're doing a really great job of it. I always think of like Kai Hansen from Halloween. His son has a band. I think of all of these musicians now that really helped carve out this music, say in the 80s, and you're seeing a lot of their kids or their relatives, and they're getting into it. But it's really cool to see that you and your dad, you get to spend time together. I mean, you get to spend time with your dad every day, because that's
the other side of things. I mean, pretty obviously my dad was not at home that much when I was born,
right?
And he was on tour, so for us it's a really, really cool thing to spend time together, and we see each other more friends when we go on tour, and at the same time we are doing business together, and we are creating music together. So there's so much that we now spend together as bandmates, friends, and whatnot. So it's really, really cool to catch up on time that we didn't have when I was younger, for sure.
Hey everybody, Tony here from the Metal Command podcast. Again, I appreciate your support. Since 1998, I have hosted this show in one form or another, starting off in radio and now in the podcast format. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see and hear on this show, by all means, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell to be notified anytime I do post a video, and if you see this program on any other form of social media, please give me a follow there. Again, I always appreciate your support.